Bonjour Year 9 and welcome to your fourth lesson of the summer term of French. And today you'll be focusing on être and avoir, two very key verbs which you've been working on when you've been talking about physical description. So they're going to be tested even further and developed even further today. So I hope you like your lesson with Mr. Bolis. Let's move on now to what you're going to need for the lesson. For today's lesson, you will need your exercise book that the school gave to you, a pen and a ruler, materials to make flashcards, so paper and scissors, your knowledge organizer for module 5, which you can either have open on a tab or maybe you've already printed it off. That would be useful to have. Also, you could open a tab on your computer with wordreference.com on there, the online dictionary, French to English and English to French, to look up any words that are not in your knowledge organizer. If you want to pause in order to get that together and press play to continue. Well done, Year 9. Okay. Please remember to email me if you have any questions about the activities in the lesson or if you want to receive an achievement point. So please do send me photos of all your work. Those of you that have sent the work, I'm really impressed with what you're doing. You're doing really well with the recorded PowerPoints as well. So I'm really pleased. So I hope you're enjoying the lessons as well. Okay, press pause when you're ready and we'll move on to the do now activity. Okay, Year 9, do not forget your date in French in the top right hand corner. So today is lundi 27 avril, Monday the 27th of April. And your title, être et avoir, to be and to have. Make sure both your date and your title are underlined neatly. And then write down your objective. L'objectif, to use être et avoir correctly. Pause to write those down and then press play when you're ready for the do now. Okay, let's look at your do now activity. Pour commencer, traduire. You have a 5-minute do now activity to translate the following sentences into French. So copy the English and write down the French next to it. Note that for number 1, it's pointed out that it's a feminine person, okay? So the F in brackets means feminine, so make sure your adjectives agree. Pause now, complete the activity and press play for the answers. Okay, and these are the answers that I'm looking for. 1, I am tall, feminine and very talkative. Je suis grande et très bavarde. Make sure you've got an E on each of the adjectives there because the person is feminine. 2, my sister is arrogant. Ma sœur est arrogante with an E on the end. 3, my brother is arrogant. Mon frère est arrogant. Okay, no E on that one because he's masculine. 4, my brothers are quite selfish. Mes frères sont assez égoïstes. Make sure you've got an S on égoïste there. 5, my sisters are very stubborn. Mes sœurs sont très têtues. Okay, make sure you've got an ES ending on têtu and that all your accents are in place. Pause now to check your work. Please do take a photo if you've got it all right, and I will give you an achievement point. So my email address you already had on the last slide. Now I'm going to pass you over to Mr. Bolis, who's going to teach the rest of the lesson. Au revoir.
So for our first activity today, Year 9, we're going to look at the present tense of avoir. I'm going to show you all the forms of avoir in the present tense, and what I want you to do, I want you to repeat the French after me. I'm going to leave a gap for you to do so. Avoir, which means to have. J'ai les cheveux courts, and that means I have short hair. Tu as les cheveux courts. You have short hair. Il a les cheveux courts. He has short hair. Elle a les cheveux courts. She has short hair. On a les cheveux courts. We have short hair. Nous avons les cheveux courts. We have short hair. Now here please note that on and nous are two different versions of we in English. One is informal, the other one is formal. Vous avez les cheveux courts. You have short hair. Now note here that you again is appearing, but for number 2 it was you singular. Now for number 7 it's you plural. Ils ont les cheveux courts. They have short hair. Elles ont les cheveux courts. They have short hair. Now the difference between il and elle, when it's got an s at the end, is that you've got the masculine and the feminine version of they. Okay, in a few seconds I'm going to ask you to copy this in your exercise book, but before we do so, let's go through avoir again one more time. It's j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, on a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. So you can now press pause and write down the English in your exercise book and try to remember what the French was. If you are really stuck, just press play again and we'll go through the correction together. So as promised, here is the correction on the board. Take some time to check your work and press play again when you're ready. So for your next activity, I want you to make flashcards and learn avoir off by heart. Now here is an example. On one side of the card, I want you to write in French. On the other side, I want you to write down the English. So take 5 minutes to make the cards and then learn it. When you press play again, we'll be doing some practice on that verb, so make sure you know it very well. As promised, we are now going to practice avoir together. And what I want you to do, I want you to complete the following sentences with the correct form of avoir and then translate the sentences into English. So write down numbers 1 to 5 in your exercise book, write down the French, then the English next to it. And when you are done, press play again so we can go through the correction. So let's go through the correction together. Number 1 was j'ai les cheveux longs and I have long hair. That's what it means. As-tu les yeux bleus ou verts means do you have blue or green eyes? Now please note that a and tu have swapped over to create a question. That's the simplest way in French to make a question. You just swap the verb with the pronoun. Mes parents ont les cheveux roux. My parents have red hair. Mon frère et moi avons une moustache. My brother and I have a moustache. And the last one, ma sœur a les cheveux très longs. My sister has very long hair. So well done year 9 if you got everything right. And as usual, take a picture, send it to me, and I'll be able to give you an achievement point. For our next activity, we're now going to have a look at the present tense of être. So once again, we worked very hard this week on using it. Let's see the full conjugation of être. Same as with avoir. Now what I want you to do, after I say the French, just repeat it after me. Être, which of course means to be. Je suis grand, je suis grande. And they both mean I am tall. Now, if you remember lesson 3, we did explain why. If je is masculine, it's je suis grand. If je is feminine, it's je suis grande. Tu es grand, tu es grande. And it means you are tall. Il est grand. He is tall. Now this time, of course, there's only one possibility because he is always masculine. Elle est grande. She is tall. On est grand. On est grande. We are tall. Nous sommes grands. Nous sommes grandes. We are tall. Now, even though they both mean the same, please note that with on, sometimes you can put an S at the end of the adjectives, sometimes not. In that case, we're not putting any S because we're considering on as one singular item. Vous êtes grand, vous êtes grande. And that means you are tall. Ils sont grands. They are tall. Elles sont grandes. They are tall. Okay, well done, Year 9. Now we're going to do a bit of the same activity as with avoir. I'm now taking it away from the board and I want you to write down the English and then write down the French next to it. When you're ready, press play again and I'll put it back on the board. So as promised, here it is again, so you can check your work and make sure you've got them all right. Moving on to our next activity, which is of course to make flashcard and an être of by heart, not by ear, of course. I'll correct this in the next version. Here is an example. Je suis on one side, I am on the other. You can now press pause, and when you think you know être very well, you can press play again for some practice activity. So as promised, he has some practice activities for être. I want you to complete the following sentences using the correct form of être and then translate the sentences into English. So write down numbers 1 to 5 in your exercise book, write down the whole sentence with the correct word in the gap, and then press play again to see the correction.